Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope everything is working as usual. Matt Scott here, back with some new podcast episodes, World's Edition this time. Thank you for joining me. Just gonna put that music all the way down. There we go. Yeah, Worlds, NA, play-ins, already done. So it's time to do a little recap, as we usually do. So obviously we had Fnatic play in that part of Worlds, which is pretty good because it allows me to cover Worlds from the start and have a good reason to do it since Fnatic played there. So as usual, we'll have a little look at the tournament, what's been happening, the teams who've qualified for groups, those who haven't, maybe some standout performances. Obviously, we'll be talking about Fnatic, who managed to qualify for groups, ending first in their group and playing despite all the bullshit that happened. We'll go over it, obviously. But between COVID, lack of practice, bad environment to play, still managed to get out. So good stuff. And little announcement at the end. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you've seen that I've sent a little communication about this. So make sure to stay until the end to see what it's about. And I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Well, you'll probably enjoy it. I'm sure of it. But yeah, how about we jump in right into it? So just gonna make sure that yes, there we go. Awesome. So I hope you guys can see. I try to bring in all the groups info. So both the best of ones as well as the knockout stage, but those were the results at the end of play-ins. So for Group A, in order, we had Fnatic automatically qualifying for groups. Awesome. Evil Geniuses second, so playing the last round of knockouts. We had Loud from Brazil, DFM, who made it out. Surprisingly, I thought they would do much better. BYG from PCS, I believe, and Chiefs Gaming, which Australia didn't expect them to do well. Group B, we had DRX from LCK, followed by RNG, which I think everyone kind of expected. Either RNG to be first, DRX second, the other way around. Mad Lions third, again. Seeing who were the first two teams to be there, I think third was expected for Mad Lions. Saigon Buffalo fourth, snapping that final spot for the knockout stage, and Acerus and Istanbul Wildcats. Now I will say that I thought Wildcats would do better than that, but I was quite disappointed by Turkey, and unfortunately for LATAM, South America, especially I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Isurus is a Mexican-based team, so they were playing locally as well. So it's a bit of a shame that they didn't manage to really represent their area. So those are the final results. Just speaking quickly, obviously, about this first stage before we move on to knockouts. Actually, I'm just realizing I received this afternoon the static jersey. It's really nice. I don't know if you guys got the bundle. I got the hoodie, and the hoodie, I ordered it as an M, so it can be like quite snug, quite fit on me. It feels like I'm wearing an XL. So I mean, it's fine. It's just it'll be mostly for me wear at home type of hoodie, a gaming day kind of hoodie. But yeah, I don't know if you guys had the same experience on your side, but yeah, just a quick update on that. Um, Going back to the group stage, Group A. Well, you know, no bias. I genuinely thought Fnatic was going to be first. Even despite all the issues that they have, I just think individually they have the better talents than most of the team there. Obviously, you can make an argument that these teams that had their full roster would have had probably more team synergy overall, but how much does team synergy trump individual performances? We'll talk about this a bit more into the Fnatic segment. What I will say is that I think Evil Geniuses would be behind BYG Beyond Gaming. Now, I don't know if that's Evil Geniuses performing well or more if it's BYG underperforming, because BYG, for those who don't know who they are or can't really locate what type of team they're meant to be, they are in the same region as PSG Talent. Now, if you've watched MSI, you will know that how do you call it? PSG Talent did rather well. I do believe they made it to playoffs, I believe, of MSI. Let me check. Yeah, no, wait, 2021, 2022. No, sorry, they made 5th, 6th. That's my bad. I thought they did better than that. So was it just NA, EU, LCK, and I guess so, huh? I got a bad memory on this. I do apologize. But yeah, nonetheless, they're still. I still consider them a quite competitive region. I'm sure if I go back into the teams, did they manage to take a game off of anyone? Let me see. I guess not. Okay, so I guess it's just me who overestimated them. Yeah, that's my bad. That's bad preparation on my side. So yeah, I guess probably BYG is in the position they deserve to be. I don't know. I've always kind of valued PSG Talent as a team in their capacity of being a competitive team. Obviously, PSG Talent did not make it. It was BYG and CFO. Team Flying Oysters. What an epic name for a team, by the way. And yeah, so Evil Geniuses, second place. Loud and Detonation Gaming. Now, I personally value DFM. I think they're one of the most dominant regional team. As in, I think they've won the most titles in their own region, but it feels like it's a bit of a one-team region. But nonetheless, Evi had some really impressive performances on his Gnar, especially in that one game against Evil Geniuses, where he just goes full Giga Chad mode and he TPs while he's taking the bullet time from Misfortune right behind her, and Krugs jumps over, gnars them against the wall, and wins the team fight for his team. This guy's an absolute hero. This is the play that basically allowed Fnatic to qualify for group stage and just end up first. So big props to DFM on that one. Light, which I think was a very interesting team. Very much in their Brazilian ways, who are quite extreme in their celebration, very loud actually. And they like to taunt, which is really part of the game. Definitely shown that they are a momentum team, that once they get going, they're a bit like a very like a snowball that's coming down the mountain, and it's very hard to stop as it gets bigger and bigger. So um, I think it was interesting to see them perform and do well and actually clinch that third place where, obviously for teams for the minor regions, it was a bit more competitive to get that third fourth place. Group B, I don't think there's much to be said. Obviously DRX doing a perfect group. I think could have gone either way for both DRX and RNG. Mad Lions actually almost took a game from DRX. If things went a bit more their way, it could have been that Mad Lions is fighting for that second spot with RNG. So Mad Lions, Yoya from Mad Lions, I think played admirably and was able to do quite a bit, especially with Belveth. Uh, despite his team not necessarily being at the same level, so a bit of an unfortunate situation. They still managed to get third on that group stage, and obviously RNG, who I think out of the you know two Asian major regions is the one that got pushed around and challenged the most. DRX looks comfortable in most games, except the game against Mad Lions, but their capacity of bringing it back, I think, just says a lot on the level that they're able to bring on the Rift. So DRX qualifying straight to group stage. Gonna be able to sort of continue what they've been showcasing in their group stage here, and we'll see if they're still as strong or if there's really a separation between them being the fourth representative for LCK, or it's just the fact that they're an LCK team is enough to make it into playoffs afterwards. So that was for the group stage. As we move on forward into the knockouts, so the first games were Loud versus DFM, Mad Lions versus Saigon Buffalo. First game. Now, I think this one was the game that could have been the closest. I think a lot of people were putting their money on Loud, seeing how they were quite dominant in the wins that they had. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that they had the fastest game from playing stage against TFM, was it? Or BYG? Cannot remember who it was against. But it was like 22, 23 minutes, something like this. It was quite impressive. I need to find it real quickly. I believe it was their second game. It was against DFM. Yeah. It was against DFM. I mean, they even took a game against Fnatic. Even though you can argue that Fnatic's draft was quite int, they still had that accomplishment to put in their bag. So props to them. Despite that, DFM was just a better team on that best of 5, and I think it's really there that you can see the big difference between a best of 1 and a best of 5. I think DFM was on the day the team that was able to showcase more sides to their playstyle than Loud was, and Loud felt really like a one-dimensional team at the end. I personally thought that Loud would be one of the teams that would have most how do you call it, variety in their picks, right? But if you go over, so if I just go over some of the games, Loud wins the first game, introductory, and they kind of go into the same style and the same how do you call it? The same pick. So a lot of Maokai in the jungle, a lot of Nor. I will say this is that they try to change it up in games 2 and 3. So they brought in the Seraphine with the Galio, and it was game 3 where they brought in Lissandra and is it Israel her name? Israel. Oh, for some reason I blanked out there. So it was some expected mix-up that you would get from a team like Loud, but I think macro-wise, DFM just had the upper hand. For Mad Lions, well, for Mad Lions it's a bit weird, right? If you don't consider their last game, but Mad Lions versus Saigon, I think it just wasn't close. Mad Lions had a very strong game 1, and Saigon had a very strong game 2. I think people thought it was going to be a lot of a back and forth at that point. What really happened is that, sorry, is that Mad Lions was just much more in control for the next 2 games, and what it was is that Saigon relied a lot, in my opinion, on their ADC Shogun, who I think was probably their best player out of the 5, and he got a pentakill. So I mean, it doesn't mean a lot, but I think it still showcases some level from this player. So what you have here is pretty much a team that has to put a lot of resources into their bot lane to be able to get some wins. So that was a straightforward win for Mad Lions. They still drop a game, but nonetheless they look rather solid on their other games. Coming into the final round, RNG versus DFM, Evil Geniuses versus Mad Lions. Well, let's begin with RNG versus DFM. I don't know if you guys watched the games live, but it did look at some point that DFM was going to be the team to take it. They win the first game pretty convincingly. Second game starts super well. You feel like they're going to be able to close it off. In the end, they just completely threw the game. RNG brings it back. Nonetheless, RNG has a pretty, let's say, awful early game. So this is where DFM usually strikes and gets better. It was not to be. I don't think there's much more to say that the fact that RNG just took over. The moment they took the game, this second game away from DFM, they just steamrolled them. Game 4 wasn't even close. RNG was just doing whatever they wanted with DFM. And it's a bit sad. It's a bit sad because DFM's a super fun team. You gotta love Evi with his thumbs up emote. And yeah, I think it would have been fun to see them in group stage, but clearly they showed their limits against a team like RNG, and I think that if you're not able to pass the RNG bar, then probably not made for groups. So that's 3 major regions making it out: LEC, LCK, LPL. Now for the final one, Evil Geniuses versus Mad Lions. The dreaded EU versus NA. And I think to the surprise of many, Mad Lions got completely shit-stomped. And I was... I'm not going to say I predicted it, but I was a bit precautious about Mad Lions being able to match Evil Geniuses, because if you look at it lane by lane, right, I think Impact is definitely has been better during the planes than Armut. I think Elyoya and Inspire just really match each other, but Elyoya has more of that carry potential. Niski versus Jojo. I don't think Niski is as dominant in lane as a humanoid can be, where humanoid just made Jojo hug his turret for the whole laning phase. And he wasn't able to impact the map as Jojo has been in the games against Mad Lions. And then in the bot lane, I mean, bot lane, you can, you can say a lot of things, especially the fact that um, Evil Geniuses didn't have their starting ADC. So Unforgiven is not bad. And I would think that with Kaiser, who's I think one of the best supports in EU, would be able to make a difference. But it just didn't happen. And I was really, really surprised that not only that Mad Lions lost, but on top of that, they were not able to get a single game off of Evil Geniuses. Right? Because when you look, so first game was rather close until Evil Geniuses got the team fight. But the other games, like game 2 and game 3, less than 30 minutes. Game 2 was 24 minutes. That is an absolute demonstration. Like game 3 was just not even close. Like if you look at the objectives, the kills, 10 kills to 3, 10 turrets to 2. Mate, 10k goal difference at 28 minutes. Disaster. That was a disaster. So EG, I think against all predictions, actually makes it out of play-ins and qualifies for group stage. So very good for them. We have a representative from each region. A bit sad for Mad Lions. I'm gonna sit here now. I don't think Elyoya will still be in Mad Lions next year. He might want to be in a different organization. But we'll see. Maybe I'm mistaken. But yeah. In any case, let's have a look at Fnatic. Fnatic 4-1. I forgot. I wanted to put the teams they played against, but you guys saw it in the presentation before. Fnatic making it out first despite everything that happened against them. How crazy is that? Just to recap what Fnatic was playing with here. 2 players who got COVID and couldn't make it to NA on pretty much for the first game, or even before that, with Upset and Haley getting COVID. No preparation, because, well, they didn't have a full roster, and they had to bring in Rux from his holiday in Spain to fly to NA. This guy was chilling. This guy was chilling in the sun. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the game. He has an amazing tan during the games. So had to be called during his holiday. He's not in a competitive mood, but has to fly over, fight jet lag, and do his best to play in a lane where he has to deal with someone else, right? So a lot of synergy is required and everything. No practice because of that. Bad preparation environment because computers were bad, lag was bad, just everything not going their way. And then when they're able to get their ADC Upset for the first game, he's pretty much in Mexico I think for less than 24 hours, completely jet lag as fuck, no preparation again, just recovering from COVID. First 2 games with Rux, then Haley has to come in, same condition as Upset, and they still make it first. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? Especially with the opening game against Evil Geniuses. And I was a bit scared, right? Because I think Evil Geniuses, they're NA whatsoever. I think they're not too bad as a team, and I think they're in a capacity to beat a team like Fnatic, who was in a very poor condition to play. And I will say this: I think everyone agrees, actually, to say that Rux had a performance of a lifetime. Now, for the average Fnatic fan, seeing a support player playing 2 games and being deathless, that was a bit of a shocker. We were like, what the hell is happening here? Is this really a Fnatic support if he doesn't die at least 5 times in the first 10 minutes? But Rux played super well. Now, I knew that it would be a bit easier because, what do you call it? Rux has a very similar playstyle, in my opinion, to Hylissang. So he plays a lot of engaged champions. He's very good with the Nautilus and the Leonas, Rel, stuff like this. He times his engages pretty well, and he combines his spells. Like his combo execution is pretty good. Basically, that's what I meant. And he's shown it on the Leona game, where he does a very aggressive flash, gets onto the Lux, allows Upset to get the first blood, and basically, if you watch the game, there's a lot of times where he's the one that's setting up the play. So at one point, it's what's his name? Inspired, who's pushing into the top side. Pixel Brush gets caught by Razork. Rux is on the side, catches him with the Zenith Blade. They get the kill, and completely blind, manages to get, is it called Solar Flare or whatever it's called, onto 2 people to stun them. Another 2 kills onto Baron. That's all Rux. That is all Rux. And then when it was Kalista Nautilus against Chiefs, the dredge lines that he's hitting, like the hooks, pixel perfect. I doubt that he's missed like a single hook, or if he has, it's like maybe 1 or 2. But even the Fate's Call, when he gets ulted by Upset, he hits multiple targets every time. Like the one where what's his name? The one where Upset gets a pentakill, right? And they're fighting on that top lane on the inhibitor turret. He hits the last 4 players all together. He's like a bowling ball. He's going for the strike on that one. Completely smashes him. So his execution was amazing. And I didn't know about that the specifics. I thought that maybe Rux would have been able to play the 3rd game against a DFM to allow Hilly to rest, recover from traveling and everything, and then the last 2 games. However, because Rux is an emergency sub, if your player is available to play, then you cannot decide to have Rux instead. So because Hylissang was available, they had to play him. And DFM early game was terrible, and as I mentioned before, DFM's early game, I think, is one of their strong components. So it looked kind of dicey at the start, with stuff like Wunder getting solo killed, and Hylissang getting caught left and right, which is a classic Hylissang, but even then. And despite that, we managed to bring it back, get some good team fights, get some objectives, get some Drakes. We got the Baron. Even Razork on his Lee Sin was a bit, even though I believe that's one of his strongest champions. But yeah, it was a bit of a curious one on that one, but I won't necessarily say more about it. But what counts, obviously, is the win, even though I think it it showed that we lacked some practice, some communication, and I think that obviously that showed quite a bit when we were in the game against Loud. Loud, obviously, who've shown what they're capable of doing when they get the ball running, when they get this advantage. It feels like it's very hard to get it off of them. That the game that they won, either they win hard or they lose hard. There's no really middle ground. Like I'd have to check again, but from what I remember of the games that they've played, it was either or. And I'm just gonna take maybe the one of the other games, Light versus Chief. Um, Light won. Yeah, it's less than a 30-minute game, and they end up with pretty much 10k gold lead in the end. And you look at the differences, it's 9 turrets to 2, 29 kills to 18, so quite a bit of a brawl, and 1 Baron to none. So yeah, I think that actually stands, that they have that really strong hardball style, and despite that, there were times where we almost brought it back, but when you're so far ahead, I think it's just very hard to come back. So Light definitely got the best of us. They memed us. They did the guy with his little what do you call it? The little hey bot gap blah 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 and so yeah, that was a bit of a tilter. I won't lie, but it's good. It's good banter. It's that's how the Brazilians are. So props to them. But for me, I was a bit stressed out because I thought that our hardest game at the time was probably going to be against Beyond Gaming, against BYG. Now, obviously, at this stage, BYG kind of struggled, so they weren't necessarily that big of a competition, but you still got to be careful, about a region like PCS. Orange Forge, hello, thank you for joining me. Just talking about Fnatic's games right now, and actually about their last game against BYG, and actually it was a pretty comfortable game, to be honest. I didn't feel like we fell off, or we were at risk of losing the game. Even from the early game, we took the lead. Humanoid, which I think is probably, if not with Rux, the MVP of our team for over the tournament. He switched it on an extra level, and his Sylas, his Akali, his Victor have all been really godlike on there. Obviously, Wunder pulling off the Gragas comfort pick, so that works out well for him in the end. And yeah, Hillysang only 2 deaths on that one, so I think it's very good. But yeah, no, just very solid overall game. 10 turrets to 1. There's just very good execution overall. I think, isn't it this game where where Razork decides to like flash into 4 people because he's pretty much caught into the Sejuani ult, and instead of like flashing away, he flashes into them, and he's like, I'm gonna try to get a kill. Instead, it's what's his name? It's Upset who gets the kill with the Aphelios ulti. But man, what a Giga Chad on that one. Yeah, it isn't a Fnatic game without some trolling. That is for sure. I mean, that's what no practice and tiredness will do to you. So, I think overall, I think we can be very happy of the final result, and that most of all we managed to make it to groups without going through at the best of five, because that would have mean that we would have faced probably Mad Lions, actually, when I think about it. So it would have been fine, but I think so. I don't know what has been the schedule for the team, but I think the fact that we knew we were going to New York makes it that we had more time to practice. So I hope we managed to get some scrims, we managed to get some practice, because what's coming up is not going to be as accessible, let's say, than that what group stage has been. Group stage, we've been blessed to not have any major regions, apart from NA, in our group. But what was I gonna say? No, actually, I think this is so perfect. Oh, actually, this shouldn't say group stage. This should say Fnatic. Oh, have I screwed myself here? Let's see. I do this. Okay. I go there. Ah, I knew it. Okay. Let me just do a quick change for the title here. Let's see. Copy and paste. All right. I'm gonna delete this, and then I'm gonna do this, and now this is changing into group stage. There we go. Sorry about that. Who am I most worried about in Group A? Mostly worried about EDG. Most worried about, it's definitely between EDG and T1. I think Cloud9 is very good, but let's see. I think personally that the mid lane gap is going to be very strong. I think Humanoid is just way better than Jensen, and then we'll see how Berserk plays against Upset, but I'm not too concerned about this. It's just, yeah, EGG and T1. It's between one of them, and I did put EDG at third, so maybe I think T1's the bigger threat here. I think because EDG is a very brawly type of team, they're going to be very close to our style. So I think we maybe have a bit more of a capacity. Maybe I'm just, sniffing some hard copium right now, but I don't know. I want to believe that if without practice we're able to get first of our group, with more practice, we're gonna improve on some of our aspects and be able to do a bit better in the group stage. I don't know. I think also what's great is that we've already got some first games to, actually practice, get some games and get some picks, and be able to continue to improve into group stage. So for me, I think it's going to be T1 first, Fnatic second, EGG third. Might be like a tie to determine who's second first. It could happen, just like we did against RNG 2020, I believe it was. I think so, yeah. And Cloud9 last. Group B, I think when you look at it, there's no easy group, to be honest. Like, we thought that maybe the Rogue group would be easy, but if you look at it, there's DRX, Top Esports, two strong teams from the top regions. And you have GAM Esports, who's always gonna play spoiler and manage to get a game off of one of these teams, because they're gonna have some crazy comps, some crazy execution, as they've shown prior. But back to Group B really quickly, where we have Damwon, Evil Geniuses, G2, and GGG. So JGG, obviously, first in LPL, super strong. I think they're going to top their group pretty easily. Damwon, Kia, Showmaker. What are you gonna do against him? So I think again we have two pretty clear top twos here. Who could be a dark horse in those groups? I'm not too sure. Actually, I think Flying Oysters could be a dark horse. I think potentially they could end up second. I think they could end up second. They looked very dominant in PCS. Now, obviously, we saw Beyond Gaming being a bit unimpressive, we'll say, but we'll see. I'll put my money on Flying Oysters because I watched their like final two games when they played PSG and when they played BIG, and it feels like there's a very strong gap between BYG and Flying Oysters. I believe they won the finals 3-0. So yeah, and other reason is because Flying Oysters is a super cool name. So I'm looking forward to casters having to cast a best of 5 with Flying Oysters and come out with the best puns they can. So yeah, I'm gonna say Flying Oysters. I've got them as third in Group D, which I think is also gonna be a complicated group. So you have Genji probably gonna top it, RNG second. I've got Flying Oysters third, but potentially could make RNG bleed and miss some spots. I think 100 Thieves is gonna be pretty much ass blasted by everyone on there. Potentially they go 0-6. So we'll see. I put Rogue second in Group C, just off of their finals performance. I hope they stay like this, and I think they can take a game off of DRX like Mad Lions almost did. I think Top Esports is just gonna be a very strong team, but who knows? Rogue might actually be first. It's very hard to estimate because Rogue has changed their style so much. So, are they going to continue in that style, or is it going to be a different showing for Rogue? We'll see. We'll see on that one. But yeah, that's pretty much my standings, my predictions for groups. Let me know what you guys think. If you would change some stuff around. If you're watching this on YouTube, obviously, you can leave me your predictions in the comments. I'll have a look and I'll let you know what I think. One last thing before I leave you guys. Where is it? Is it here? I'm doing a little giveaway. Yay! So what it is that because I'm part of the sort of Pioneer fan club thingy, I get to have a free jersey. So the jersey that they're offering, I have them all. I've bought them all. So there's no reason for me to have a second edition because the ones that can be customized are customized, and the one that can be, which is the Orange 18th anniversary, is available. So I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna order probably like a large so it can fit most people, or if not, you can just hang it in your room or something. So I'm gonna be giving away the jersey that I can get for free. So I'm gonna post either tonight or tomorrow morning, depending. I'm gonna tweet on the at IFB podcast. So if you're not following, go right now so you can get notified. A tweet is gonna be the giveaway tweet. So you'll have to follow the account, like the tweet, and retweet it to be eligible for the giveaway. I'm probably gonna let it run for about a week or so. I'll announce the winner. I'll DM you. So no bots whatsoever or fake accounts will be eligible. And yeah, answer to your DM I'll ask for your address so I can ship it to you, and that's it. So first giveaway from the podcast. I'm hoping that I get to do more as I move on, as we get more people tuning in and viewing. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do a giveaway when they release the 2023 jersey. So yeah, you guys keep an eye out for that. Probably gonna be tomorrow, I think, because it's a bit late, so not everyone might see it. So tomorrow morning, I'll tweet it. If you want to participate, you know what you got to do. Follow at IFB Podcast, like, and retweet, and maybe you'll get your hands on a jersey. I think that jersey looks super cool, by the way. I have it right here. Actually, give me a second. Oop. There we go. It's inside out. Oh, I've completely gone out of focus now. Focus, focus, focus. Nope, I'll be out of focus for the rest of this podcast. That's absolutely fine. Maybe if I show the jersey. This is mine, by the way, so you're not getting this one. But you'll get a fresh one, a new one available. So this is the one if you guys want to look at it, see what it looks like. There we go. Amazing. ASOS logo. Spider-Man style. So there, that's what's up for grabs. A new one. You'll get a fresh one. Don't worry. Let me just refocus here. Am I back in focus? More or less. There we go. Awesome. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your questions. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for taking the time to watch. If you're listening on Spotify, thank you for taking the time to listen. Follow me on all these little socials here. Matt Scott, IFB Podcast, the YouTube, the Spotify. I do live commentary. I post memes. I waste my time on this app, but it's for the good, it's for the good cause. So I'll see you next week, hopefully with some good news that Fnatic has made it out of groups and more adventures on Worlds in NA. I'm losing focus again. So I'll see you guys. Take care. Always Fnatic and have a good night. Bye-bye.